So today I'm going to talk about how to heal big picture problems, right? Child trafficking, domestic abuse, abuse of women. And so we have to start with the fact that the universe is a hologram. Not a perfect mirror like some people say, right? If you attract narcissists into your life, that doesn't necessarily mean you're a narcissist. It probably means you have low self-worth, right? If you attract rape, does that mean you're a rapist? No. But there is a mirror quality of we are getting what we do to ourselves. So when it comes to healing these really solvable problems, right, that have been around since the beginning of time, we have to look within. And something that I wanted to speak about today is it's a patriarchal belief system. And I say patriarchal because patriarchal to me means denial of the whole, denial of feeling, denial of intuition, denial of the emotional reality, denial of what somebody is going through, right? Dismissing it, saying, oh, you're being hyperbolic, you're emotionally unstable. All of those phrases should trigger within us an inquiry about what's going on with that person, not a dismissal and denial that they're overreacting or they're overly sensitive or anything like that. In fact, I think we need to reframe when a person is highly upset about something, they're probably upset for a reason, and for a reason that might not even be conscious, for a reason that they cannot cope with. And so if we want to heal problems on the world stage, we have to stop denying our own reality and the reality of people in our lives. And people do not get upset for no reason. They stay upset they might stay upset for attention, because of an emotional addiction. But in general, when people are even highly reactive and highly unstable, they're probably attempting to cope with something that they cannot cope with. So they have a lot of internal conflict. And I'm going to give you an example. If you were conditioned, if you are an empath and you are highly aware of things in your reality, you may very well see and feel things that other people do not see and feel, which can be a painful and lonely reality. So in life, you might go through your life and you might sense and know things about people in your life, about people your family's doing business with, about your own partner, that you cannot validate. You have no validation other than your feeling. So that can be confusing if as a child you were conditioned to snuff out that feeling, snuff out that instinct in favor of logic, in favor of making other people comfortable. So that could look like, oh, like I sense there's something off in my marriage, in my partnership, but yet my partner is very well liked in society. My partner is celebrated as a great person. Right? There's all this like logical evidence. And by the way, the physical world is only 0.0001% of reality. So what we can see and what our conditioned mind can logically conclude is literally almost nothing compared to reality. So, but we are conditioned to believe that we are bodies in a physical world. We're conditioned to believe that this infinitesimal part of reality is true on some level, even though we know it's not. And so there's this conflict that's unsolvable, because if I was taught, or if I decided, I concluded that my instinct is not true, yet the instinct never goes away, there's a conflict. And so you might not be able to authenticate or validate literally anything in your life, right? If you've created a life where you're magnetizing a lot of fake people to you, a lot of deceptive people to you, probably because you're working through a wound of learning how to trust yourself. It can be very scary to be like, whoa, I'm surrounded by deception and nobody else can see it but me. And this is highly upsetting, because nobody believes me, because I can't prove it, and so my ego is trying to convince me not to trust my instincts, because like this might be very inconvenient for me if I leave this marriage, if I say something, if I act on the truth, it might be very inconvenient for me. I might not have any safety net. I might not have any new friends. I might not have money. There's so much conflict that can come from following the truth. And so if we want to solve the problem of violence in the world, we need to stop violating ourselves by snuffing out what we know. So when a woman is hyperbolic, that very word is patriarchal, because it's like, wait a minute, just because of what you can see in the 0.001 reality, and by the way, it could be man, doesn't matter, the feminine energy, based on the almost nothing that you know, right, physical reality, you're dismissing somebody entirely because they make you uncomfortable, because their reactions are inconvenient, because it's way too confrontational for you. You know, a lot of people are conditioned to never upset the apple cart, and we're even, there's a lot of like, there's really something to being gracious and being still and being calm, but true stillness and true calm and true stability comes from unraveling all of these lies and conditioning and resting upon the truth that's inside of you. It's not acting gracious. It's not acting still. It's not acting like anything. It's being with the fact, right? If you want to be enlightened, what's the fact? Well, the fact is that I'm very upset right now. Okay, let me inquire as to why I'm upset. Let me inquire. You don't need a special method. You don't need a freaking coach. You don't need a technique. You just need to pause and say, what's happening inside of me? Oh, like I know things for sure. There are things in my life that feel terribly wrong to me, but I can't prove them. Okay. And what does that mean? Oh, well, that means that, I might have to leave a relationship that I'm really attached to, and that feels very scary for me. Okay. And what's so scary about that? Okay, well, I'm this age and I don't know if I'll ever find somebody that understands me like this person understands. You just pause and go in. And when you get to the core, it's like, okay, but the reality is that I have an endless source of stability, love. I'm whole the way I am. This person can come and go and I am still this radiant being. That's the truth. Oh, okay, when I am at the ground of my being, I am naturally gracious, I am naturally still, but you cannot bypass the journey to get there. And the trickster tricks us to dismiss on the level of reaction when the healing response would be to inquire. So if you are raising, and I'm focusing on women right now because it tends to be more of an issue with women, but if you're raising a daughter, if your partner is a woman, if your friends are women and they are really upset about something, the way that you could change the world is to help them inquire as to the source, the belief, the construct of their upset. Help them go in. Don't say, oh God, like you just need to get over that. Just get over it. You're just too sensitive. And by the way, there is also such thing as being too sensitive, in the sense of like, you don't want to let your environment own you, right? Letting your environment paralyze you, being too attuned to your emotional environment, is actually a way to distract yourself, oftentimes from a fear of failure. Because if you're paralyzed, well, you don't have to fail, right? If you're worthless, even feeling worthless can be a smokescreen for the fear of failure, right? What's the payoff of being worthless? Oh, I never have to try. I never have to be different. I never have to be seen. Therefore, I never have to fail. Therefore, I never have to feel like my entire life is a big waste and that I'm a big failure and that my entire existence was a waste, right? So there is such thing as being owned by our environment. There is such thing as being too sensitive, but we are in the midst of healing, of leaving an era of the patriarchal era, which is the denial of the whole, the denial of the trauma, the denial of the reality of the person. And if you want to be part of the solution, if your daughter is highly upset about something, sit down and inquire and be very curious. The most damaging thing you can do to feminine energy is to deny the reality, because feminine energy is designed to mirror and amplify. If there's a woman in your family system who's always disturbed, chances are she might be an oracle. She might be picking up on things that are highly painful, that she can feel, that other people are in denial of. And let me tell you, the cancer of society is denial. I have worked with people who have themselves been sexually abused. They have children that get sexually abused, and the mother doesn't believe the child, even though the mother has herself experienced the same thing. That's how thick denial is, and that's why for thousands of years we have child trafficking, we have child abuse, we have all kinds of horrific abuse that is easy to solve if we switch, if we reframe reaction and we reframe disturbed feelings and deep pain as something to understand and not something to judge. So I hope this is helpful, and I hope you have a beautiful day.